channel name is Truth, and the Truth Network is a collaborative effort with the truth tellers from around the world. I've included the deceivers so you can see them as well. And to avoid copyright infringements, what I do is just include their video that they're in and other people's created content that will help me to avoid the censorship of getting my channel taken down. So those are some of the dynamics of all this. It's cold, windy, and it's going to be rainy today, apparently, in South Carolina here. So I'm going to take us for a bit of a ride to a few different locations. You can see what this looks like here. Oh, that's funny. I've got too many things in my passenger seat. It thinks somebody's in there. Oh, come on. There we go. That's funny. I had too much weight in my passenger seat, so the system thought that I was avoiding fastening the seat belt. All right. Boy, that is just not coming that clean. So what I wanted to talk about too in all of this, the Truth Network is including doctors, lawyers, world thinkers, people that are alive right now, those that may have died, some of them for exposing the truth. And so largely what I say is I'm exposing the truth about everything, and it's not just me, it's the people that I'm working with. And on any of this, if I mention anything like a potential cure for a particular disease, then this video would get flagged for medical misinformation. So I feature people on my channel that I disagree with on some of the most important issues of life, and yet they're a force to be reckoned with because they are recognized as some of the wealthiest, most influential people in the world. Elon Musk would be one of those individuals. Yeah, I'm concerned about AI as well. However, the Almighty is more powerful than artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computer systems. And because I'm indwelt by the Holy Spirit, I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth at all. I know what that feels like. And I also know what it feels like to be thought crazy or deceived by those that are deceived themselves. Isn't that ironic? Many of us know what that feels like. Does AI have feelings? Is it sentient? I believe so. And I believe it's a mechanism or a conduit for the forces of good and evil alike. So why would Elon Musk, being so concerned about the truth, that he's going to have Truth GPT, and he permanently banned me from or deplatformed me from the X platform? Why is that? Well, because I'm exposing how far advanced AI actually is. There were people that I was able to interact with on Twitter, now X, all around the world leaders and influencers. I forwarded them a link to my YouTube channel and Linktree because I'm one of the people that's got the Truth Mobile. Now I still have the Lexus LS400 on the driveway. That's easy to see for the eyes in the sky, as well as the Toyota Prius that I'm driving now. I get about 50 miles to the gallon with this car, all around driving in the city and on the open road. So when when I make a outrageous sounding statement, and I realize it's outrageous sounding, it's meant to be, and yet I believe it's true, I'm exposing the truth about everything that I've been able to find out about. That happens through me listening to content that's created about a wide variety of topics, from health and wellness, world government, world central bank, population control and reduction, eugenics, menticide, medical tyranny. Much of what we're told officially as the absolute truth is not truth. You can't handle the truth, or maybe you can. Truth is the intellectual high ground on whatever you want to know about. The more important the question, the more important an accurate answer to that question actually is. One of the things that I do, I'm going to bounce around to as many topics as I feel like. As far as what I'm exposing the truth about, the medical, military, financial, informational, industrial complexes. The silent weapons for quiet wars can be, I can elaborate on that from not only the external geopolitics, as well as the personal struggles that we have in dealing with all of this. The tyranny that's being deployed on humanity, now worldwide. It maybe always has been. It's just that there's tools and technology that have been implemented to basically rule the world with the push of a button, as the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document states. Now, in the comment thread on that video, that's the landing video on my channel, it goes out to a lot of different platforms, exposing what I can't talk about specifically on YouTube or perhaps any other platform. I don't know. We don't know what we don't know. I could get booted off of every platform, perhaps, if the Almighty allows that. The Almighty God, the true living Creator, the way, the truth, and the life, the living Word, the living water, the great I Am. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows it all. And He's ultimately in control of it all. And I understand people have questions. If there was a God, why would there be evil? Why would this be happening right now all around us? The wars, the rumors of wars, the tyranny and the pain and the struggling and all that. Well, I believe the author of Scripture is the Holy Spirit, not a bunch of different authors, not some stinky old sheep herders. No, it's the Almighty supernaturally caused godly men to impart His word to us. And when I mean impart, He worked through them and lived through them to do that. And I believe the book of Enoch is a part of that. Some people might not like that. I don't determine what people like, believe, say, or do. I'm totally out of control of all of that. What a freedom that is. That I don't have, I'm not responsible for it. I'm not responsible what you or anybody else does with the information that I'm laying down here, talking about. What I am responsible for is the obedience to do what I'm created to do. And exposing the truth about everything is what that is, as best I can tell. All right, so one of the other really unpopular realities is we live on a stationary level earth with covered with the firmament, as the book of Genesis talks about in the Holy Bible, the Word of God, whether you like it or not. So there are a lot of people that I'm connected with through social media and face-to-face that are believing that the flat earth is stupid, and those that are putting their life on the line, exposing everything they can about everything they can. So here we go. Where am I going to park? Let me just pull right into the middle here between 6 and 7. And I should have lighting on each side. I'm going to do a walk around the car so you can see what this looks like. This may be new to you. I don't know where you're tuning in from. If you want to put it in the chat, that's cool. So I'm at the Bolanos here in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And this is what the Truthmobile looks like today, right now. This is a different one than the other blue one that I had. That one had a problem with a leak, an internal leak on the ABS system. So it was cost prohibitive for me to replace it. This one has less than 114,000 miles on. The other one had almost double that. So I needed a reliable mobile recording studio, and here it is, and economical. I'll top off the fuel, and typically it's a couple of dollars or so to do that. I do it pretty much daily, so it gives me a platform to drive around in, even when it's rainy and cold, windy. And let me show you what the truck drivers and the eyes in the sky get to see as well. Okay, Bible.com is God's Word in all the major languages of the world. This should be very provocative, the truth. What you talking about, the truth? Well, the truth about everything. Like I say, I'm going to see if this paper towel will clean that off. I'd like to have it perfectly clear. That seems to be better. And if you don't like the way I drive, or you do, you could give me a call. If you do or don't like what I'm talking about, you can give me a call if you like. I encourage people, this gives people a reason to, let's say, take a picture of it. Yes. Soylent Green is people. Remember the movie? Oh my gosh. Charlton Heston in that. Anyway, the gentleman that comes to our neighborhood drives one of those, and I come on out there from time to time. It's normally around 5 a.m. and I wave to him, and I'll say, hey, just wanted to see if it's still you, or do they have a mannequin in there with an autonomous driving refuge collection truck. And then this is a little bit easier to see, like in the rear view mirror, if somebody can maybe see that, or the trucks that are next to me. So the newer model Truthmobile has the push button down low. I like the symmetry of that better. I think it looks better. All right. One of the other things that is so cool about this is that I can run my climate control. It's running right now, holding it at 70, which is comfortable. And what happens is it's running off of the battery, which is wonderful. All right, let me flip this around now. How about that? So early on in all this, exposing the truth, some of the comments would be, why do people do their recording and their live streams in their car? Well, for those of us that have been around this for a while, it's pretty obvious, because sometimes there are other members of the family that are not so excited about either our beliefs or our schedule, the schedule that we keep. I'm gonna put the buckle the seat belt over here on the other side, so I don't have to deal with that beeping sound. There's stuff I wanted to put there, like I've got my, it's well faded, but the stickers that have the Bible.com and and truth on it. I would hang those on the pier here in Cherry Grove, and people would, a lot of times people will go running down the beach and they'll touch the pier and turn around and go the other direction. It can be a turning point in people's lives. They can turn around, they can, and metaphorically and literally, really, that can be an issue. A real beneficial one. Now that I'm hogging up a whole pump, I'm going to move myself here. I don't need to stay here. Let me flip this around a wee bit. Okay, so fuel is $2.69 right now. I've only gone 10 miles since I filled up, so putting a couple of ounces of gas in here is not going to be what I'm going to do right now. The other thing to think about too, sometimes I'll go 50 miles and I can only put in a half a gallon of fuel. Why is that? Why is that, Robert? Am I getting that much better fuel economy? Well, it's got about a 10 or 11 gallon tank, and I typically go to the same pump and put the nozzle in the same way, and there's expansion and contraction of the fuel. I don't know exactly what a gallon of gasoline weighs. It's less than a gallon of water. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that depends. It depends on the temperature. Temperature changes volume and density of water. That fact, I should say, regulates a very important part of our whole hydrologic cycle of the world. I'm not anti-scientific. Got my friend Brian or Matt there that's got the barbecue, Southern Barbecue. There, known them for years. I've been coming to this area for about 34 years or so, and lived here for 15. One of the local fixtures, so to speak, a movable one. An anomaly. I remember as a boy wondering if, I was about 10 years old when I really started to realize that I was very different than other people. And at that time, I didn't even understand the concept or the reality of pride. What is pride? And sometimes it can be viewed as a good thing. Take pride in what we do, take ownership, or try and do the best that we can. Those can be favorable references to pride. Oh, by the way, I like to go the speed limit. That's one of the other things I was going to tell you is I've got a nice digital odometer. I can show you. Let's see what it looks like. And I just like to go the speed limit. I'm not the enforcer. I'm not trying to cause everybody else to go the speed limit. It's just that I want to get where I'm going. I don't want to intentionally upset people, contrary to what some may view of that. It's just that the other thing is for merging into traffic and what lane I'm in, if I'm going the speed limit, people can get upset and think I'm in the wrong lane. I don't go in the hammer lane on the highway, on the freeways, I should say, the number one lane and go the speed limit. I'll typically be in the middle. And sometimes I'll be in the hammer lane, but it's exiting. That's why. In where I live, there are a few places that being in the right lane would be kind of dangerous because, well, I'm going to have to exit and cross over a bunch of lanes, so I do it a little bit early. Some people have poor time management. In other words, they're maybe staying up too late. They may be getting intoxicated with some substance. It could be a glass of wine or a needle full of heroin. I don't know. Could be opiates. They could dress it up in a lab coat and call it whatever they want. They could be burning some weed or vaping some substance that maybe is liquefied psychedelic mushrooms or whatnot. What I ended up finding out about the war on drugs is basically the war on drugs is largely the war on the competition of the drug dealers and the battle between good and evil with all of that. Who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Well, the CIA has been busted running drugs and weapons and trafficking people and creating events to arrest people for doing honeypots and all kinds of involvement. You can look at Operation Paperclip and have your mind literally blown if you haven't already. You may be unaware of this. Annie Jacobsen wrote several books that are wonderful. I've got audio, or I should say video versions of that in my library. My name and phone number are access points to find out this information. And I have friends and family all over the world that will send links to me or we'll talk on the phone. But sending a link to my phone is probably one of the most effective ways if you need to reach me like right now. Or you want to make sure, if you haven't heard from me in a while and you're curious, go ahead and give me a phone call. All right. Yeah, I'm going to leave my lights on for just a moment. I wanted to show you my favorite parking spot and why it is that way. So people coming down this is a changeover day, people coming and going from the Prince Resort. We're in the off season right now. Wonderful time to visit. But when they're coming down here or coming in, they'll be able to see the Truthmobile parked there like that. And typically I'll be able to wave to them and do. I've got a security system and touchless entry, keyless entry, which is nice. Good to know. Good to know where the fire extinguisher is. Oh, okay, so let me show you where we are here too. That's the Cherry Grove Pier and the Prince Resort. It's raining right now, a bit, windy and rainy. And when I started doing this, it was with my motorcycle, and that made the weather a huge factor in how this worked out. Right now, there's no parking, no overnight parking, especially between 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. to keep the car campers from living in here, or people that want to have a rendezvous hotel room. No, none of that going on here. It's happened before, of course. So I'm not going to stay in this spot. I wanted to show it to you. Now we can see how I've still got this level. The car is level right now. I could pull out a bullseye level and show you it's level. However, in the middle of the view, upper right a little bit, let's see if I put it right in the middle. There we go. That's going up. All these spots that you see in the view, including where I'm at, are free parking year-round. I don't have a parking pass to park in a lot of other locations. So that's one of the reasons why this one is so popular for me. It could get really expensive paying $3 an hour to park in the paid parking areas. So the clues are all around us for the reality that we live in. People, not just other people, I'm including myself in that, we make dietary and lifestyle choices that either make us healthier or not. Healthier, wealthier. True wealth, I believe, is not just about a number in a bank account. Oh, wow. That was either a bird or a bat that flew behind that shutter there. That was interesting. So some people have a lot of money and poor health and not much time. Some people have it all. I'm just very grateful to get to do what I get to do here. Okay, the free parking ends at the gate there. So there's 99 free spots. And that is the Prince Resort. Wonderful accommodations. I've stayed here before. It's really nice. Oceanfront. So I'm facing directly south right now. They're still working on the pier over there. Not right now, though. There, that's easier to see the rain. A lot of the lighting now stays on 24/7 because they're not just lights. Many of them have transmitters in them. It's part of the mesh network. It's part of Skynet. I'll be back. Kind of like the Terminator. Oh yeah, how about that? My brother did the makeup for the first Terminator. The makeup for Arnold. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. Screw your freedom, he says. Dadgummit. Oh wow. Yeah, some of our so one of the challenges, people will have somebody that they really like. So whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or Elon Musk or me, we all have things that we've done. I can speak for myself that I'm not pleased with, and the reason why I couldn't live out the things that I know I should be doing is I needed more power. Okay, I didn't have enough power. I didn't have the power of the Holy Spirit. Even though I was a homeschooling father of 3 adult sons now, and I worked at a full-time ministry and led character development classes at a mega church in Wisconsin. Christ the Rock Community Church in Menasha, Wisconsin is that ministry, and it was a mega church. I helped build it. And then Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin. Bart Starr and Jan and John Bart Starr lent credibility to that organization. And then there was a collaborative effort with corporate funding and of corporations, Kimberly-Clark, Neenah Foundry, corporations from all over the world, in fact, to help redirect young men's lives. I was vocational instructor there from 1991 to 2002. And you can see some of my bio there if you want. How much is still up, I'm not sure. I was well respected by many. And yet I had struggles that were going on with periodic drinking of alcohol and smoking cigars and that for a while. And so my mother died in 1993, a very difficult time for me. She said, Bobby, and she was 51 years old. She said, Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. And she was right. Doctors said, they said I can eat whatever I want. Now that I know what I know, that's about the worst advice that anybody could give another human being. Eat whatever you like. No, there's very unhealthy dietary choices, dietary and lifestyle choices. So there are ways to reduce our toxic exposure by having healthy, clean, purified water. This is reverse osmosis, carbon filtered, solar activated. I like it in glass and I like to put it in the sun. So for about 5 years now, I've been bathing in reverse osmosis drinking water. It's the same water, same type of water, that process that they use for the hemodialysis or the dialysis. When somebody has renal failure and they need to have their blood filtered, they filter it through a membrane that has highly purified water flowing next to it, drawing the toxins out of the blood. So the semi-permeable membrane of my body is what I'm using. I may gain or lose several pounds in a long therapeutic soak. And then for further protection of my skin and hair and nails and all that, I'll use coconut oil, organic coconut oil. So I look younger than I did 10 years ago. I'm 62 years old. In fact, January apparently is when I was conceived, actually before my parents were married, a little bit before that. I was on the way. I'm glad Mom and Dad decided to make it legal. And they were married until my mom passed away in 93. And that was painful to see her go. Our lives, this whole world is a bit different because of that. And part of the journey that put me on was to know the truth about what she said. You know, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. And I looked into that and found a very dark agenda surrounding the Rockefeller Medical Industrial Complex. A lot of it was implemented by John D. Rockefeller and Evil Bill. You can see all about it, and you may have to go on to Odyssey. If this video is allowed to stay up, it'll end up being on Odyssey. Used to be called Library. And the Truth Network involves the truth tellers, and the deceivers are there too. So when I put here Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and, Dr. Evil, there's a lot of different Dr. Evils apparently. And yet behind and above all of that is this, and around all of this, is the battle between good and evil. And then people will argue about who's who. I get that. I understand that. So sometimes our heroes get a blemish on them. Or maybe we find out that they're part of a very dark agenda. So I remember I heard Elon Musk say something on the Lex Fridman podcast that I wholeheartedly agree with. They were talking about this war, this genocide. I'm calling it a genocide, and I believe many others are too, in Gaza right now, with Hamas and the IDF, the Israeli Defense. It is, from what I understand, the history of Hamas is that it was created and funded by Israel to allow them to reach out into this genocidal effort. What Elon said today, or I heard him today, was on that podcast. It's in my library, so you can hear Elon in over a 2-hour video, long-form video with Lex Fridman. He says, if I were Israel right now, I would reach out in every humanitarian effort kind of way that I could. Is that going to happen? Well, I don't think so. I don't know. Think back on part of what I found out about our government here in the United States. Apparently gave smallpox infected blankets to the Native Americans. Did that really happen? I believe it did. A lot of them died. They've poisoned the water hole. They've promoted cholera. They've done all kinds of devious things. This putrefaction of our environment has happened for a long time. And it started before, well, long time ago. How far back? Let's go to the battle in the heavenly realm when Lucifer, now the fallen one, Satan, decided he wanted to take the place of the Almighty. And he was cast out of heaven along with a third of the angels. They came down to the earth. They were cast to earth. Some are probably in hell right now, and there's obviously plenty moving amongst us right now. So with the backdrop of the timeline deception, you can see that title, The Timeline Deception, by Exploring Tartaria. That's the name of the channel, showing archaeological and historical evidence that it's very likely that we've already had the tribulation and the millennial reign of Christ. Melted mountains and melted marble cathedrals and structures. How does that happen? It wasn't just a Sodom and Gomorrah situation. So the premise of that video is that we're actually living in that short season that Satan was released. So, that being, if that's true, if that's the case, and I believe it is, after my investigation with the help of others, that means that this could all wrap up at any time. If they decide to hit the nuke button, and some would say nukes aren't even real, they don't exist. Well, what I do know is they sure know how to blow stuff up in a big way, so we could see a lot of that happen, however they do it. So there's a lot of opinions. Everybody's got one. And some people are more generous sharing their opinions, which are actually beliefs. I have a lot of beliefs, and people believe a lot of things. I really prefer the truth. I've had plenty of the deception. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's part of the corruption of our environment. Now let's flip this around. So we can see I'm driving on the level right now. You can't have level on a spinning, wobbling, gyrating water ball orbiting and hurling through the universe. That is absurd. So if you believe the global lie, well, you're deceived about that. And yes, we do live in a computer simulation and this base reality. I don't see any other people around here. The only people that could see me for real at this time are the people looking at me in this parking garage. Everybody else, if you're watching this live as it's being broadcast, you're seeing a digital capture and transmission and a reassembly of it instantaneously. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. It's truly amazing. I wanted to reach everybody I could, and here we go. Here it is. This is how this works at this point in human history. It literally blows my mind that I have the privilege of being able to do this. So I will. And one of the ironies about all this is People love and hate that about me. I know that. And also people love and hate the truth. They might not even realize it is the truth. So in the smorgasbord of spirituality that humanity is dining on currently and has been, there's a lot of deception. Contradictory perspectives mutually exclude. They can't both be correct. Contradictory perspectives cannot both be correct. They may both be wrong. There may be another option that is actually the correct option. So the truth is the most censored topic known to mankind. Do you know the truth? And I would say the truth is actually an identity of the Creator, the true Creator. Many references to Him: the living Word, the Holy Spirit, the living water, all of that's true. I believe based on my investigation. I'm not even going to say it's my opinion. It's my belief. And that's why I'm so, I've spent so much time looking into it. Because, like I say, I realized early on, like when I was about 10 or so, that I wasn't like a lot of the other kids. And I didn't know if there was something wrong with me or wrong with them, and I found out, yes, there was something wrong with me and something wrong with them. There's something wrong with all of us, okay? So one of the attributes that I believe the Almighty gave me is humility. It's a gift from Him to acknowledge, yes, I've got flaws, probably more than I'm aware of. And what I found out is that I was spiritually deader than a hammer, even though I was working at a full-time ministry and homeschooling our sons and doing all of that. Another big wake-up call for me was in 1991. Joni and I were going to Lamaze class, Les Melk class. Joni was going to and did breastfeed our sons. And so that was really important to know how to take care of a baby, how to take care of a newborn. We learned a lot. And this was at Long Beach Memorial in Long Beach, California. And Charlene told us face to face, separately, apart from the group. She said, and she may have done this to everybody, I don't know. But I was very interactive through the class, as you can maybe imagine. She said, whatever you do, don't get the vaccines. And I said, really, why? She said, they'll hurt your baby. And I thought, oh. And then I looked into that. You might want to look into, I believe, Dr. Andrew Wakefield and many more. There are dietary and lifestyle choices to vax or not to vax. Well, that's up to you. It shouldn't be up to the government. It shouldn't be up to anybody but you. Well, what about the children that have been, I believe, harmed, assaulted and harmed? And what about the death all around us more recently? Cause of Death Unknown by Edward Dowd. I recommended reading. Brilliant man. I've got him in the Truth Research Library, in the Truth Network. You can check him out. Yes. So it's kind of nice. The point in Cherry Grove is right out here where I am. I did a live stream a recording the other day out here. I've done a lot of live streams out here, a digital audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. and you can check that out if you care to. What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? Absolutely priceless. So that's why I do this. That's why I've reached out to everybody to go back that I can. To go back to Elon Musk and X. Okay, so I appeal pretty regularly, sometimes multiple times in a day. There's a little hyperlink in the file an appeal when it's talking about how to file an appeal, and I do. And I'll send my playlist, I'll send whatever I feel like, whatever I can hyperlink in there, along with call or text anytime. I may put the Bible verse in there. What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? We've got technology. You can see in my research library, in the YouTube playlist, and throughout. You can find different pieces of it all around. We could have vehicles be perpetual driving machines. We've got an alert right now that there's going to be grid problems, electrical supply, generation and supply problems in our country because of an effort to go green. And what has happened is they're employing methods that are not as effective as clean nuclear, clean coal, clean natural gas. The whole Greta Thunberg and how dare you, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on the whole climate change or global warming. It's a hoax. It is a hoax. And the carbon credit thing, it's all bullshit. Okay, God made this world for his children to do battle with Satan's children. How about that? Welcome to asymmetrical warfare. Did we choose to be here and now? I don't know. I'm up for it though. I'll just go ahead and do it. Yeah, I'm going to move around a little bit more. Let's see. I'm going to head towards Wally World, I think. Or I could go into Bolanos, see if they've got any deals there. They normally do. So I like to get organic produce when possible. I got about 10 pounds of avocados the other day. I peeled them and or scooped them out and laid them flat in a 1-gallon bag, Ziploc bag, and put them in the freezer. It worked awesome. I'll break it apart a little bit. I put on some healthy sea salt, so salt. It's what I'm brushing with. Got my rechargeable toothbrush and so salt, or Redmond salt, from an ancient bed out of Utah, without all the microplastics apparently in it. So I brush with that salt and then I'll swallow it. We need more than water. We need powerful electrolytes to help our cellular makeup, the cellular hydration. You can drink all kinds of water, be drinking and peeing and be dehydrating, not even know it. If you drink too much water without getting enough electrolytes, it can make it very hard for your body to hydrate, and then it can be very difficult for your heart to pump your blood around, and you can be dehydrated at a cellular level, drinking all kinds of water. It was happening to me. I don't get nearly as thirsty as I used to, and I'm drinking less water and consuming about half the calories I used to, or a third, something like that. I don't need to leave a big trail of poop behind me, all extra consumed food for entertainment. It can be more highly highly nutritious food. Okay, so where I was talking about the avocados, I've also bought 40 pounds of bananas at 12 cents a pound. And then I would peel them and freeze them. And then I lay them flat in that Ziploc bag, and I can throw a banana in my smoothie that has broccoli and kale and organic spinach and spring mix, chia seed to help absorb that. Chia seed absorbs 9 times its weight in liquid, and then it will even out the blood sugar. It's one of the reasons why I look younger than 62, almost 63, from the point of conception. Be exact words. Well, what my mom was drinking, eating, and watching affected who I am. We had the Cuban Missile Crisis happening when I was very young, and there were other issues going on in 61 as well. When I was in her womb, there were a lot of political issues going on. So that even if a mother is watching a horror movie or living a horrific war-like situation, or was raped or something like that, or just living in a very difficult place, it's going to affect the child. It's going to affect the mother and the child. So, I'm going to put a little bit of a bow on what I'm bathing in. I'm going to go back to that. I'm bathing in the reverse osmosis drinking water with a tablespoon of each of the following: boron, which is borax, which is boron, magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt. There's a lot of different health benefits from these things. The sea salt, the healthy full spectrum sea salt, with over 82 powerful electrolytes in it. And no, I don't need soap. I'm bathing in something way healthier than a toxic soap. And then apple cider vinegar with the mother. Apparently Bill Gates bought Bragg and is using his appeal stuff to further his agenda. Oh, and did I say lemon juice? Not yet, but that's in there too. A tablespoon of that. And then 7 drops of each of the 2-part chlorine dioxide water purification. I want to make sure that my water is pure, has a water treatment in it. Also, a tablespoon of baking soda. And then, to round all that out, I've got the, looks like a Men in Black vehicle, but they don't drive Lexuses. Anyway, I've got a ground wire running to the electrical system in my home. So I'm well grounded. I'm grounded in truth. Wow. Had to slam on the old brakes there. Yeah, they're going okay. Okay, let's just show you how this looks. Notice how the lights look higher here and lower down there, further on down the way. That's the optical perspective. Yeah, we don't know what we don't know. Something closer of the identical size looks bigger. And it's a little bit more challenging to see that because of all the reflection on the road. Okay, so on the stationary level Earth, we've got the level roadways for the most part. They make them level when they can, and they may have them graded to each side. It's peaked in the middle, tapered out, so when we get massive amounts of rain, the water will run off. It's water seeking its level. That's what it does all over the stationary level Earth. It's just the way it is. It's reality. And public works projects, they're put in on the level. And then there may be pumping stations to deal with having to raise it, lower it, or move it on, move it out. Oh, one of the other things, I'm going to go to my smoothie now. Some people tell me they'll have a pen handy and write down different things they want to remember. I'll add mushrooms. Like I bought a bunch of mushrooms the other day. I opened them up and sprinkled that healthy sea salt, and once again, Ziploc bags, laid them flat, and then I'll throw those little buddies right in my smoothie. They help the merging of the left and right hemispheres of the brain. How about that? Did you know that? Shiitake mushrooms, portobellas, whitecap, there's lion's mane and turkey tail, and some of the last two you might need to find online. You can grow them yourself if you want to. So, like for example, I was wondering why I had so many mushrooms in my yard. Well, those little squirrels were taking acorns and planting oak trees and mushrooms. Yeah, how about that? Pretty cool, isn't it? Beach services there. I've talked to most of those, or many of those guys. Yes. So the engine shuts off when there's enough battery and that's one of the ways that it saves so much gasoline. Oh, nice. I like that. Good morning, man. So a lot of Thursdays of the season, there will be a whole band or multiple bands sometimes on this stage, and then thousands of people on a busy weekend will be here. And then the fortified or they're not porta potties, they are fortified concrete bathrooms. I still wouldn't want to be in there if a tidal wave or a tsunami came in, but I might go there if it wasn't too tall of a body of water, or a wall of water. I might try and drive away if I could get to my car quick enough. Over at the Prince where I was, I would probably want to get higher, climbing up through the stairway. That'd be a good thing to do. Situational awareness. Oh my gosh, what the heck is going on here today? There's a bunch of people under this canopy. Well, not a bunch, a couple. Yeah, like some kind of a food thing on a rainy day. So I'm on the set live here in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been up here parked alongside the road in front of the Sky Bar, where I've seen over 100 Uber and Lyft drivers come and drop off hotties, college age, and then the guys that are chasing after them. How about that? Think about the woman in red and how a lot of the lifestyle and purchasing decisions are made by the women. It's designed that way. It's by design. Just think about it. Who holds the purse strings? Do they work it all out? Well, maybe. It's just that if it doesn't go mama's way, daddy might not be so happy. No sex for you. No soup for you. Jerry Seinfeld. Oh my gosh. How ironic. How funny. Little comic relief for you. So we've got the Sky Bar right here, and then Soho grand opening. Some really quality foods and interesting entertainment. I'm not a fan of the consumption of alcohol. I've had all I would ever want to have. In fact, I had more than I ever should have had. And I'm not shaking my judgmental finger at everybody that's currently imbibing or having some kind of an indulgence that's going to alter their perception. I would just prefer a healthy perception with more adequate and accurate, precise situational awareness. So when we look at machine learning, pattern recognition, and an AI large language model, why would some of the architects of AI follow me? Well, I'm an interesting study. I'm indwelt by the Holy Spirit, and He knows it all. And some of the efforts that I've been doing to put forward here while I'm living out my purpose is I'm exposing all this. And so what's the answer? Well, get your house in order, because this whole thing could wrap up at any time. One of my friends I talked to yesterday afternoon, and when I say friend, I say I see him, wave to him, say hi to him, we talk briefly. It's not like I put my stamp of approval on their lifestyle. She mentioned she's got a stent that is going to get put in her body, in her heart area, and she's still smoking cigarettes and drinking liquor and smoking weed. You think any of those could be an issue? I said, and I used her name, you may want to take a look at my research library. There's some healthy options for you there. I said that after she mentioned this extremely expensive drug that she wanted to get samples of. I said, well, there's some healthy options that don't have that cost associated with them. And then she said, I'm not feeling well, I really got to go. I get that. Whenever somebody brings up, hey, you might want to get all those monkeys off your back, the drugs and the alcohol and the cigarettes and all that, is that medical misinformation? I don't think so. Bastards. Censoring me for exposing the truth. Anyway, this will be an appeal directly to AI. We know you're working hard. Who you working for? Working for me right now. Storing, transmitting, and shadow banning the daylights out of me. How about that? Oh well. I'll be up and running as long as the Lord allows. He's all powerful and all knowing. Whom should I be afraid of? No one. So I've got a security system, eternal security system, wherever I am. How about that? Doesn't that look amazing when it's wet? Very different than when it's dry. So imagine if you couldn't go shopping anymore because you didn't have a way to pay for it. Let's say they stopped taking cash, gold, and silver, and you got to have digital, only digital. Ooh, we've already got Black Friday deals there. How about that? And, oh, look at that. You could flu immunization this way. That would be no. How about hell no? Not doing it. Not doing it. Never did. Don't want it. Had enough of the bullshit. Have you? Had enough of that yet? So the liars don't always lie. That's what makes it so effective. And what are those lights for? They've got them equidistant with Walmart in the middle. There's one on each side. Some believe it may be a identification situation. Could be. There's the smoking tent. It can be. I would a lot of times go out by the smoking area even when I didn't smoke. Could hang out with people. Heck, I've even pulled up to those spots, talked to folks even when I didn't work at a place where they had one of these tents for, well, you can go out there and eat or smoke, of course. So I'm not one of these legalistic people like, oh, you're going to go to hell. No, I'm not saying that if you do these things that you're going to hell. It's not based on that. What it is, it goes like this. The Almighty determined before the foundation of the world who his children are. We're the only ones that are going to want to be born again and will be. He's going to make sure of it. He's going to cause it to happen. Hey, there's my buddy Roger. Wonder if he knows who I am. Of course he knows who I am. I'm in the Truth Mobile. I see him several times a week. Nice guy. I've known a lot of the different greeters. He would be a greeter there. So the short version that I'll use, somebody sees the car or sees the, let's see, where is my lanyard? Here it is. Let me flip this around. Okay, so I'll be wearing a lanyard and they'll say, oh, you got a YouTube channel. Oh, you're the YouTube guy. Yeah, what's that about? Well, here's a card. I'll give them a card. I just got 1,000 more of them from Coastal Printing in Myrtle Beach. You can go there. You can talk to Susan. I get my cards for $25 for 1,000. It's a pretty good deal. Black and white. Anyway, the short version is, yeah, I've got a not only a YouTube channel, if you Google my name or phone number, guaranteed to blow your mind. I'm exposing the truth about everything, and if you think I've got something wrong or missed something, you could give me a call, send me a link, or put it in a comment. So the Truth Network is the truth teller, tellers, and the deceivers. It's basically everybody. It's just the unfortunate reality is that a lot of the deceivers have some pretty powerful tools. However, the Almighty can use and does use everything, everyone he wants to. And he knows it all. And he's all powerful. That is amazing to me. So I'm living a hero's journey. I'm one of the heroes. For some, the hero's journey in a movie plot, like Neo in The Matrix, or Truman in The Truman Show, finding it all out. I couldn't have figured this out on my own. That's not how I got here. I got here because the Almighty activated me, gave me His Holy Spirit so that I could do this. Otherwise, I would be lost just like all the other people that are lost right now, all around us. And that's how it goes. So the doctrine of election, predestination as it's also known, is, I believe, the reality that the Almighty determines who His children are. When our names were put in the Lamb's Book of Life before the foundation of the world, and He chose perhaps the, when I say perhaps, maybe our or my willingness to obey earlier could have happened. Could be. Could I have avoided a lot of pain? Probably. I know I've experienced a lot of it, and there's a lot of pain and suffering all around us in this world right now, with war and death and all of that. And so we're November 10th of 2023. Look in the rear view mirror. What's happened in the last 3 years? Pretty tragic what's been happening. And I've got documentation of it in the research library I've compiled with the help of others, lots of others. So I remember when I was growing up as a boy, and let's see, it would be Mrs. Lippert would go to the chiropractor. Let's see, where is that? I just saw the chiropractic. North Myrtle Beach Chiropractic. And I remember my dad saying, she's going to see the quack. That's quackery. Well, not so much. They had a whole lot of really good information to learn about having the posture aligned, shoulders back, chin up, looking on out there. When I was telling you about my therapeutic soak, I'll put my feet up against the module of the tub, lean back, have my sinuses take in all that highly purified electrolyte enhanced water. The mucus that comes out I'll use to shave with. Oh yeah. It's not the junky, dirty spit or mucus of somebody that's smoking or breathing in brake dust or foundry contamination. No. I've been doing this for over 5 years, or around 5 years. So it's the slipperiest stuff there is. And it's not a yucky thing necessarily. It is electronic or electrically activated by our body. Electrolytes are in it. And it's super slippery. And remember, this isn't a kid's video. This is an adult video. It's not made for kids. So the part of the way it works for physical intimacy is that mucus is produced for that. However, what's coming out of my sinuses is really close to the brain. When I saw so I grew up on a farm, in farming country, even though my dad sold steel to Oshkosh Defense military industrial complex. And he worked with engineers, inventors, people that created components for race cars and military weapons. And we talked about it. Engineering, I can engineer. I could engineer a freaking perpetual driving machine. They don't want it. You wouldn't even have to pull over and fill it up. It could be making its own electricity while you're sitting still with a magnetron generator in it. People don't like that. It's probably one of the reasons why Elon bumped me off of his platform. I wouldn't shut up about it. Well, they killed Stanley Meyer and Troy Reed and other zero-point energy people talking about it. I sent them that information many times. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yeah. When I lean back and put my feet up and I let the sinuses fill up with that purified water, it's a good way of drawing that out of my sinuses. It's a histamine. It loosens that up. So that a few years ago, I was out on the beach and I did this. I could feel it getting pulled out of my sinuses. I spit out it looked like butterscotch pudding that would be a little bit less than the volume, probably about half the volume of this glass, a crystal glass. I spit it out on the beach and I was able to breathe freely through my nose. What the heck was that stuff? I don't know. I had allergy shots as a boy. What was that? What was that stuff? Was I part of a MK Ultra program? System knew my dad was going to work for the military-industrial complex. He went from selling Firestone tires to, he worked with my grandfather for a while plastering buildings, large commercial buildings. He didn't like that so much. He almost lost his eye. One of his eyes, he got splashed with lye in his face, and a gentleman took a mouthful of water, opened up his eye and spit the water in there and saved him from losing his eyesight. It causes blindness. If my dad would have been wearing a patch, I might not even be talking to you. Arr, like a pirate or something. Anyway, that's just part of my history and bio and how this all worked out for me. This is kind of an interesting spot to sit and look at. The car is tilted down a little bit, so I'm going to move my camera up a little bit. I began noticing things. Stuff wasn't adding up. So, for people believe that there's upside down people in relationship to us on the bottom of a spinning, wobbling, and gyrating globe, I'm not embarrassed talking about it. For those space cadets that are believing they're going to go to Mars, that's bullshit. Now, if they were to get honest and say, okay, when you enter this program, we're actually going to transfer your consciousness and your body is no longer going to operate. Well, that would be a little bit more honest. That's maybe what would happen. If I were writing a science fiction novel, like I could, I would say, yeah, it's like you just go in and have your consciousness put in another digital container, another avatar. Oh well, maybe that's what they're going to do with people. I don't know. I'm not willingly going to have it done to me. So I don't know where you all are in this life, where you are in relationship with your surroundings, with God. Are you born of the Holy Spirit? Are you an AI? Certainly the AI, the artificial intelligence so-called, converts my words into a text, and then it will censor perhaps or throttle back views or not attribute a view numeral to every view. It can manage all that. It's very deceptive. So I'm in that too. I'm out here doing this video right now. You can see the truth in the window behind me a little bit more now because of lighting. That's all part of the construct. When I started out, it was a lot darker. We can see the lighting. The sun is approaching. The sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary level Earth. The water seeks level. whether it's on my windshield in the tidal pools or the big puddle that covers the face of this place. So, some of you know this, some of you don't know this. I've been viewed over 40 million times. I've got a message. Seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. The crew that did a lot of the recording of me at the Flat Earth Conference I was at all the Flat Earth International conferences, 3 of them. I was seen at the one in Raleigh, where I was heard saying, "Do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, and gyrating?" No, I'm rock solid. And we don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello, it's just water seeking its level. And then another popular one for people to laugh at, they're lying, I ain't buying. Who's they? Well, Satan. Put my thumb up there, I had a few more to go. And it's all the people that are deceived and don't know it. So the system will make an effort to deceive everybody that it can, knowing that there's going to be a transference of that deception, like a virus, a mind virus, working in a very convoluted way, using people's preferred desire to see themselves and the world the way they want. Another way that gives them pleasure. What do you call when somebody sees something in a way that gives them pleasure? Well, it can be self-actualization, mental masturbation, rationalization. There's a lot of different terminology that can be used. Cognitive dissonance is that awkward feeling when there's information presented that doesn't match up. There you go. I've been that guy. I've been that guy riding the bike in the rain a long time ago, about 40 some years ago. I can still ride in the rain today, but that doesn't look like recreational riding. It's time to go to work. But anyway, when I see things like that, or when I just observe life the way I do, I realize I'm in a privileged position to be able to comment on the world that we live in. And what's the answer? What's the answer? Well, He is the answer. He is the way. He is the truth. The capital H in He. Who is Jesus? Well, He's the great I Am. He's the God that took up human flesh, dwelt among us, healed people, opened the eyes of the blind, caused the dead to be resurrected, and then to prove what He was saying is true and reliable, He raised Himself from the dead. They couldn't kill Him. Well, they did kill Him, but He rose back to life. Did the Holy Spirit cease to exist? No, I don't believe that would be happening. No, he always was and always will be. And so there's this hatred between those that represent the family of good and evil. This battle that's going on. Truth and lies, truth and deception are primary weapons. You can look at any war that's ever been fought, and I would say it's been based on deception. People don't know the real cause, reason, or why. However, they're given a narrative that gets them all excited about supporting it. Apparently, now the United States is having a hard time meeting their quota for willing participants in the military-industrial complex. Well, for one, a lot of people died the last 3 years in that demographic that would normally go to war. Part of that battle is to get people in a situation where they maybe can't find a job, but the Army, Navy, Air Force, they're hiring. Hey, you could even be in the Space Force, maybe. Keep in mind, the space that's being referred to is not only cyberspace, the space between your ears, your brain. The collective consciousness of humanity is being corrupted and perverted by high-powered technology that involves uh, the the well, it involves the distribution of chemicals and particles through the food, water, and air, and the activated with and being activated with electronics. I believe I have a supernatural immunity. I'm extremely healthy, and I'm not taking any of their bullshit at all. So, that's where I'm at with all that. I'm exposing the lies. I've had people say, what are you going to do about it? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've done it. I don't have a manila envelope to have somebody that would have to grow some cojones or maybe, decide, do I really, this got him killed. Am I going to pass that on? No, I just put it all out there. Right now, take a look around. You might want to write my name down. Here, let's do this again. I carry a pocket full of them. If I don't put them in a Ziploc bag, they're going to get coconut oil all over them. There you go. Oh, you got a YouTube channel? Here, check it out. Guaranteed to blow your mind. Here goes another bike rider. Oh, hey, he's got a flashing light. That'll be easier to see. I've had some very hard situations. Back when I was going to college, and yeah, I went to college. Went to Oshkosh, UW Oshkosh, and Del Mar, I believe it was, in Corpus Christi, Texas. When I was in Texas, I would ride over 20 miles a day on a bicycle and live to tell about it. Down Ocean Drive, dangerous riding. I've trimmed palm trees. I've worked in the oil field, worked on electromagnetic drill pipe inspection using Magnaflux and powerful chemicals to take pipe dope off of the drill pipe. Japanese drill pipe was the best. Almost had no flaws in it. American drill pipe had to have a lot of welding done on it and rejecting them. Lots. So the Japanese have some of the best AI in robotics. China, Hong Kong has quite a bit to do with robotics and the technological tyranny that's being deployed worldwide. Now, David Hansen was following me of Hansen Robotics publicly on X. He worked with Ben Goertzel and others on the program with Sophia, the first AI robot connected with getting citizenship in Saudi Arabia. I've got a photographic memory. I remember from when I was in a crib as a boy, less than a year old. I don't remember it all. I remember like video clips, photos, videos, smells, interesting stuff. When that glop came out of my sinuses, I don't know what it was, but I know that I was able to breathe better than ever in my whole life through my nose. And the olfactory sense, the sense of smell, has a lot to do with memory retrieval. When I stopped smoking, I had a wave of emotions coming over me with remembering a lot of different events because of activation of my sense of smell. That wasn't a booger pick, that was just a nose itch. So when I bought this car, It had these little plug-ins in the vents for, they call it air freshener. It's a neurotoxin. So I pulled them out before I even drove the car home. I pulled them out right away as soon as I bought the car. And then I took it home and used hot water, hot purified water with boron and baking soda and Dawn dishwashing solution on a microfiber towel to wipe the whole inside of this thing down. So now it smells pretty much like a new car instead of an assisted living or an old folks home, a nursing home. That's what it smelled like. The combination of old people, a lot of exfoliated skin, apparently. I know what old people smell like. My dad didn't want to bathe towards the end of his life. And that's another sad story. Okay, so when my mom died, he got pretty depressed. And he drank a bit, not too much, but he drank some alcohol, and he had to have an open heart surgery. He liked a lot of fatty stuff, but he was also on different medicines as well, which can have related effects. I won't even say they're side effects. The medical industrial complex works to create customers, not cure people. I'm exposing it. They kill people that do that. They kill people that expose 0-point energy, free energy. They kill people that expose their military, medical, and financial industrial complexes. Why am I still alive? Because I'm out there. I'm way out there. That's why. And the hand of God is protecting me. And as I've mentioned before, and I embrace this, if he wants to see me exit the theater of battle in a very significant public way by having somebody kill me on a live stream or something, that could happen. Or I could just have the big one, a heart attack. Apparently there's technology that can affect involuntary function, affect blood flow, affect the heart function. So if that doesn't scare the hell out of you, I don't know what will. Well, I'm not scared. I'm not afraid because I know the truth and I'm born again. So the essence of who I am is just expressing themselves through this avatar that you're looking at. The today's version of Robert Forsch, empowered and indwelt by the Holy Spirit. That's what this looks like. It's me doing the best that I can to expose everything that I can to as many as I can, because that's why I was created. So rather than hand a to-do list to the Almighty with what I want him to do in this world and in my life and with my friends and family and my situation, I just want to do what he created me to do. That's all. That's it. And then he will also empower, not only will he empower me to do that, he'll resource me to do that. So this is a Toyota Prius that has 114,000 miles about on it, and I get to have it for $176 a month. I didn't have the money for that. A bank did. They loaned it into existence through the world financial system, but mine is a little local bank, so it's a little bit different than that. And how they work with the larger central banking system, I'm not exactly sure. However, my credit rating isn't what it used to be, and they were able to work with me. And this car was valued at about $7,000, and I bought it for $5,500, and they only needed to loan me $4,500. So that's a bit specific. Some people might think, oh, you get to go to the beach a lot. You must have a lot of money. No, I just have enough. I live, where you saw me drive away from in Longs, which is about 4 miles from the Bolanos gas station, the corner there. I'm about 5 miles from the beach or so, something like that. And so having an economical, reliable mobile recording transporter, mobile recording studio is pretty cool. Isn't it amazing that you can look through glass? But not just any glass. It's got plastic in there, in that, so it can take a hit from a rock or something and not just shatter into a whole bunch of pieces. Now the side windows will just shatter. How could I do that? Well, this would do it. This little point here. I could cut my seat belt out if I needed to. Let's see if I've got power. Oh, she's dead. Deader than a hammer. What can I do about that? Well, let's just see what we got going on here. Sometimes it needs a little help. How about this? I'll take a little portable bank. This is a Surface charger. Let's see if I can get her going. And you might think, why does that matter? Well, it might play a big factor depending on, oh, it's the wrong, I need a USB-C. I don't have the USB-C in this one. Not in this one, but I can run my computer with it. And this has got 20,000 milliamps. I believe that's what it is, 20,000. I can charge my phone about, a lot of times. I've had this in my door pocket instead of on my window ledge. And what I've done in the past, and I'm going to put this not back in the door pocket. I'm going to put it in my stuff to go in the house. But I'm going to want to make sure that this point doesn't come in contact with my phone. It could crack it real easily. And so I'm going to charge that up when I get home. I should have a couple of different connectors here, cables here. But I can set my phone down on the surface of this and charge it up. I charge it up at night. I got this because Dean, who loves to chew expensive specialty cords, Dean Martin, our naked kitty. We've got 3 of them. You can see them. If you hashtag cat fight on a YouTube search in my channel, if you go to my channel, open up the eye or the spyglass thing, the magnifier. Let's see. I've got one here. Magnifier. Anyway, can see the cats fighting. It's about a half a minute long. Cat slapping. Pearl is smacking Dean. He falls and hits his head and makes a funny noise. It's kind of funny. Some of the benefits of this, I can charge it with the sun, and it works great for that. And then I can power my phone with it, or I can have a flashlight. It's a battery bank. And so I've got redundancies at home. I've got extra food. There's the police. Very cool. Probably here for some coffee. Might be one of my friends. He's going to park next to me maybe. Nope, he's doing a drive-through or something. Anyway, I've got a portable solar panel. I could charge my battery on this car. I can charge deep cycle batteries that I run an inverter to operate my freezers. I've got a small battery in back that I can connect my inverter to and use the generator on this car to power stuff. Now the engine just started because my battery is getting low, but it'll charge right up. It's got a big generator on it that actually works to start the engine, and then there's electric motor that will drive the car, get it going. That's one of the reasons why this works so well. I can connect a hose that I've got to run up outside my attic door, and in a grid down situation, I can have my, wow, there's a runner. What's he running? He's running because it's raining. That's funny. Well, he's got her going. I can do that. Anyway, so I can power electrical appliances, and I've got enough gas to run quite a while. With the gas that I've got in small cans, well, they're cans at home. I could put them in the back of this car and drive over 1,200 miles easily. I wouldn't want to have to do that. One of the reasons why I wanted to get this car was if I ever had to evacuate because of hurricane, tsunami, wildfire, I could pack a whole bunch of this stuff that I'm talking about in the car and head on out. Me and the cats. Might have to do that. I don't know. I've got water filters and all of that. The only time I would want to bug out is if I had to evacuate my home. It's actually set up pretty well for survival. In a not a gated community, but one that has a homeowners association, and they're real observant to see if something doesn't match up. Hey, there's a Toyota Prius right there, like mine. I can't see it so good now. But there's a whole culture of car campers. Nikki Delventhal was a pro football cheerleader that decided to live in a Prius, and now she's living in another small camper. Really nice. You can see Nikki Delventhal. I've got some videos of her on my channel. There's a video that shows how your car, a Prius, can be one of the most efficient generators there is. So one of the other things that I can do is lean this back really easily. I could sleep right here in my front seat if I wanted to, and I've got climate control. I can keep my car at 70, and the engine runs every, a few minutes an hour to make that happen. Is that cool or what? So rather than trying to air condition my entire house, which is about 1,300 square feet and would require a lot of gas or diesel or a big solar panel array and batteries, I'll just climb in the car. I can fold the seat down and lay there if I want. But I can just tilt this back and I'm good, and then I don't have to climb in back. I've got I made this out of, on my garage door, I've got this bubble pack. It's called a Radiant Barrier. It covers up my whole windshield, and I customized it. Now I've got a friend who bought one for $100. Mine was already paid for. It was the scrap from my project to put it inside my garage door at home. I'm kind of like a MacGyver of sorts. Innovative, creative. Okay, so one of the things that I envisioned in my mind when I was 19 was taking tea bags. A friend of mine and I, Tony, were smoking weed and drinking tea back in the 80s. And I thought, wow, that tea is pretty good. I wonder what it would be like to put coffee in there instead. Have gourmet coffee bags instead of tea, because I like the taste of it better, and it had a better kick for me. So I envisioned the process of using tea bags for coffee, and then Folgers ended up turning it into a product. Those throw bags, you can throw a bag of coffee in a basket for your coffee. In the economy of the people, the guests that visit from all over the world here. I see them often, or I did. So one of the things that, let's see, where was I going to go with that? So it was a multi-million-dollar idea. The Folgers patented it 14 years after I envisioned it. I did nothing with it other than smoke weed and think about it, and chase after women, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And then I got to a end of myself. And that's when I thought I was born again, was in 1982. I went from believing that Jesus was a fairy tale to I believed he was real. Well, the demons believe he's real and shudder. So I went along my life struggling, and I had probably outwardly some of the best living, the way it looked to the outside world, when I worked at Rawhide Boys Ranch and was leading character development classes at Christ the Rock Church. Okay, because I was doing all the right stuff. Now, would drift off into alcohol a bit, but it was not obvious to people around me, except sometimes Joni would say, you smell like smoke. Yeah, I would make up some lies. So when I say I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth, I was afraid to tell the truth before because it would expose the fact that I was a hypocrite, that I had a hidden, I had behavior I was hiding because of an internal struggle that I was aware of. I just didn't know why. And in 2014, when I was actually born again, I wanted to know why I was struggling with things I was supposed to be free from. When I looked at the man in the mirror, why did I not measure up? I struggled so much with the flesh because that is all I had. What led up to that was I listened to many hours of the audio Bible, and I had a desire placed in my heart to know the truth more than anything else. And so that was part of how I got here, is I wanted to know for sure that when I die, where am I going to spend forever and why? Well, I believe I'm one of the Almighty's children, and he created me to live at such a time as this, to do what I get to do. So there's a couple of reasons why my name and phone number are out there on my car and cards and stickers. People can call. I realized early on in this, first off, some people were thinking, who is this guy blowing bubbles on the beach? That was part of what I started out doing, or on Main Street in front of the people partying and that. I wanted to get their attention. I had my phone number on my shirt then too, along with Bible.com and Bible Gateway. Found out a lot of people didn't believed that the Bible was not true and not reliable because science says it's not. Okay, but scientism is more of scientism is the deception. Instead of it being an explorational endeavor to find out the truth, it became a platform to promote the deception. So couched in all kinds of sophisticated sounding language, college level, and heck, even Billy Bob, yeah, they make up stuff for all different levels. So a very convincing deception has a lot of truth in it and a little bit of lies. One of the examples would be when I would watch National Geographic and they would show the animals and the animal kingdom, so to speak, and that fight for life, how the gazelle or the ibex would get eaten by the leopard or the lion in that struggle. The crocodile would eat the water buffalo, and the hippopotamus would eat whatever he felt like. Apparently they're one of the most dangerous. But anyway, So we would see that struggle for life. And then we've got it in the insect kingdom. We've got the birds, the mockingbirds will eat the grasshoppers and whatever else they feel like. And then the swallows will eat when I would mow the grass on the beautiful rolling countryside on our picturesque uh, farmette out in Reedfield, Wisconsin. Beautiful place. The swallows would be soaring around and eating the mosquitoes. I have no problem killing mosquitoes. The other day, I went to open up the sliding door and a lizard got in the house. And he was on the glass. I tried to get him out and he wasn't cooperating. We've got 3 cats, and Dean, the one that likes to chew expensive cords, he likes to chew lizards, and then they spit them out, and they don't do so good. I successfully got them out, but it wasn't with the leaf blower. I've done that before. They would go flying. I would be able to blow them on out of there. But he was stuck in an area where I couldn't get him, and then he went hiding somewhere. So what I did was I just cracked the door open a little bit so he could maybe pick up on the air coming in the house and go that direction. So I had the attic door open in the garage. That's to go up in the attic. And then I had the door in the house open, and then that door cracked a little bit. That temperature differential, the hot air in the attic getting drawn out and the cool air was being drawn in. That was a way that he or she, whatever they are, could find the fresh air and get out. Well, I realize it's a little bit of a long story. It should tell you a couple of things. It's a good way to cool off a house. You can open your attic door in your garage if you've got one like I do, and crack open a window somewhere else in the house, and it'll draw air in there, and it's a nice way of cooling things off potentially, or freshening it up. I know one of the other things that I was going to mention too, with the 3 cats, I use pine pellets from Tractor Supply Company. When I got the pellets I'm using now, they were $5 a bag. Now they're almost $8 a bag. The ones I bought a couple years supply of pine pellets. And I called Tractor Supply Company and I said, I'm using your pine pellets for my cats. I called the corporate office. And I said, you may want to change your labeling to include small animals. They had a big picture of a horse on their bag. Now they have a little picture of a horse and bunny and rabbits. I think those are the 3 animals that they use. And I believe it was a direct result of me calling them in 2016. And, oh well, so what does that matter? Well, pine naturally neutralizes the odor, and if I needed to, in a Mad Max kind of world, I could take the wet pine outside on the driveway and dry it out. I experimented with it, and I've got about 300 pounds of dry, virtually odorless sawdust that I could use if I need to. I found out that it can work. But here's the other thing. Because of humidity and temperature differentials, I used to have my leather coat by the litter boxes, hanging above the litter boxes by the laundry area. I don't have it there anymore. I moved it to a better location where there's a vent that draws fresh air out of. But anyway, my leather coat, because of the thermal mass of leather, it would get a little humidity on it, and the dust from the scoopable cat litter would actually turn into like a cement on the coat. And I got it off of there with a moist towel. But I have a friend who died a few years ago from, I forget the exact name of it. It's where the lungs turn really hard, almost like cement. Well, anyway, scoopable cat litter turns into a cementuous-like substance in the lungs when the dust hits the moist mucous membrane in the lungs, and it's really unhealthy intentionally. And it's unhealthy for the cats. Their digestive tract, from them licking their paws and stuff, it's unhealthy for them. And then what they track around can be airborne and further gets in the dust and in the lungs of the people in the house. Why is that? Is it all about the money? No, they make the money out of thin air. It's about control of the population. When I came to realize that they wanted to create not only customers for the medical industrial complex, they wanted to create customers for the graveyard, for the mortuaries. Oh, by the way, I have a video I featured of Bull Street in South Carolina. It was a mental hospital with on-site crematorium. How convenient for disposing of evidence. Why do you think the mob is into mortuaries and crematoriums? How about that? And with MK Ultra and mind control experiments, there's been a lot of drug experiments on humanity. You can even look at some of your favorite rock stars and how they were used to disseminate acid and weed and chemicals into humanity in the 60s. How about that? And then the CIA working in all of that. You can look at Laurel Canyon. I had friends that lived in Topanga Canyon, not too far from Laurel Canyon. They created stars. They created musical stars that they would end up promoting their drugs with. Huh. None of my business, or is it? I believe it's everybody's business to know the truth. It's just that Satan's children aren't going to get it. So even the demons believe and shudder. They are aware of a lot of the truth in God's word, and they're aware of a spiritual entity that is more powerful than them. And they didn't have the situational awareness to recognize that, and they were cast out of heaven. There was a flaw in them, a flaw in Lucifer, the devil. I'm exposing all of that. You can hear me talking at the Denver Flat Earth Conference with Not Exactly Normal when I talked about the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists. Yeah, they do it. You can hear about it. You can hear Ted Gunderson talking about it and exposing the Franklin Mint scandal. How about that? Yeah, and the Presidio and what was the name of the? There's been a lot of Satanism in the military. Michael Aquino, he's apparently dead, or is he? Where is he? How about Steve Jobs? Where is he? He mentioned he had help in creating the Apple empire. I'm using the tools. This is going out on a Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max. I didn't get the latest one. I don't have that kind of resource amount. I'll just keep using this one. I'll just keep on doing all that I can with what I have. So I'm in different videos, up to 40 million views all combined. One of the things I felt pretty weird at the Denver conference. Like I was mentioning, I was in front of the camera quite a bit from the film crew out of Barbados, maybe it was. I don't remember exactly. It was the Netflix crew that did the Beyond the Curve. And then people will put, thanks, Bob, for the 15-degree variation, supposedly proving the globe. No, you can't prove the globe. What I can prove is the globe deception. I've got a bullseye level here. Can lay that on the ground or on a counter, and the bubble will go right in the middle. And it'll stay there. The sun, moon, and stars will move. If you're going to put together a sophisticated autonomous robot for plasma cutting or welding, it's going to be on the level with a big swinging arc of all that they do. They've got to have it level, very precise. I know what I'm talking about. Oh, by the way, one of my favorite people to listen to, the way she delivers this is amazing. Her name is Sabrina Wallace. You can see her in my research library. And she's talking about the biofield of our bodies. It's the equivalent of our soul or spirit, that electrical entity that is us inhabiting our body. If the electricity stops going, shows over here apparently, the AED or the defibrillator that they can put on the chest to resuscitate may help out, may make it work again. But anyway, she's funny to listen to, and one of the things that she says, it's so humorous and true. She'll say, how's your phone work? Okay, tell me, how's your phone work? And what she's talking about is, how do you send an email and all of a sudden it appears somewhere else? How does that do that? And what she's talking about is our body is also interactive with the Internet of Things. Now, she actually worked in Wisconsin to turn dial-up to broadband when I lived there, and was learning, listening on, watching on a laptop. Before there were Wi-Fi routers and the ability to link up with the on a laptop with Wi-Fi or cellular, I had a long Ethernet cable, and good thing Dean wasn't there, he would have chewed it up. We had other cats, but they weren't interested in cords. But anyway, I would sit in front of the fireplace, and after chopping a lot of firewood and all that kind of stuff, I would sit there with my laptop. And, you know, if our son would have taken his pen and artwork and show me reading the Bible, that would have been heartwarming. Instead, he had a picture of me that he drew with me sitting on my laptop. Well, I listen to the Bible on my laptop. It just doesn't have that fuzzy, feel-good, warm kind of connection. A book is different than a computer. However, I had a bunch of Bible discs that I gave away, that I sent out. Let me show you something. I bought a bunch of these and gave them away. They were about $100. It's a digital audio, well, it's an audio Bible, digital audio on CDs. A bunch of them. Okay. Well, I've still got some at home that would be a one disc. Let's see. It had the oh, okay, so here it is. This is a MP3 format disc. It's got the entire New Testament and more on it. I had a 2-disc set that I got from Firefighters for Christ. I would pay $1 a piece for them and give them away. Lots of them. Hundreds and hundreds of them. I think I've got almost 1,000 of them left. However, it's not as practical as giving away the, let's see, where's a good version of it? Bible.com. I can type it in a Facebook comment and it'll show the Read the Bible, a free Bible for your computer. There's like over 4 billion downloaded or on people's devices. It's the YouVersion Bible. Whether you like it or not, it's available. Well, what I'll do is listen to the Bible on my Bluetooth speaker when I'm sleeping or almost sleeping. I can listen to it on my phone there while I'm driving or mowing the lawn. Here, I've got it. I'll play one of the discs on my car right now. Let's see, I've got surround sound.
Different spirit from the one you received, or a different gospel from the one you accepted, you put up with it easily enough. But I do not think I am in the least inferior to those super apostles. I may not be a trained speaker, but I do have knowledge. We have made this perfect. Chapter 11. I hope you will put up with a little of my foolishness, but you are already doing that. I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy.
Let's see, I wanted to...
Ephesians, chapter 1.
Ephesians.
Paul, an apostle of Christ Jesus by the will of God, to the saints in Ephesus, the faithful in Christ Jesus. Grace and peace to you from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
So the book of Ephesians, Paul's letter to the Ephesians, talks about the spiritual battle, the weapons of our warfare, and all of that. It's also very powerful, talking about the doctrine of election, also known as predestination. Who predetermined? I don't predetermine who my parents would be. I didn't predetermine who my parents would be. God did. And he predetermined me to be one of his children that would do what I'm doing now. So that's how I got here. That's what this is all about. It's about the truth about all of that. And so, where will you spend forever and why? Okay, so all the lonely people, where do they all come from? You know, where are they going? Where did they come from, and where are they going to? So in a busy year, this right here is the Starbucks parking lot that I'm in. In a busy year, there will be like 2019, there were nearly 20 million guests that came to the Grand Strand of Myrtle Beach. Not just this little North Myrtle Beach community, but all along here. And this is a mission field that comes to us, the people that are here. I've met people from Sweden, Germany, Argentina. These guys from Argentina look like they came from the same mother. I said, and they were like 40 something. I said, you know, I heard Hitler were there. And they said, we know a man that went by that name there. Did I meet some from his program, his birthing program? You can hear Whitney Webb talk about the eugenics that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in, and it was way more than the salacious sexual details around that. It had to do with the financial funneling of billions of dollars and genetic engineering. How about that? So I hear somebody like, well, you can hear her on my channel at the Glenn Beck interview. It's one of the best ones that covered that. And she's part of the Truth Network. So is Glenn Beck. I believe that Mormonism isn't biblical Christianity. Neither is Catholicism. In Scientology, that's a thing of a whole another cover. That's a whole different deal. So you can see the Tom Cruise on TikTok, right? Maybe you've seen that. Well, I kind of looked like Tom Cruise on the Rain Man VHS cover, the movie cover. We're close to the same age. I wouldn't trade what I have for what Tom Cruise has, or what Elon Musk has, or Bill Gates. Or you can put any name in there. I wouldn't trade with anybody else. I don't know that they'll ever be born again. Many of some of the names I mentioned, I don't believe are born again. They don't claim to be. So when I want to talk about the Neuralink too. Human trials apparently are already approved and in process. Well, apparently Microsoft already has a working model that's going on with that. And the N3 program is the non-invasive MK Ultra mind control technology, where these technological tools or toxins have been sprayed in our skies with a variety of means. I've got evidence, proof of it, all over. Reality is proof of everything. The reality of what I'm talking about is the proof that I'm wanting you to look at, to be able to see. So these technological toxins that are boring into our lungs, hitting the hydrochloric acid in our stomach, and depending on the chemical cocktail that's in your body and my body, it's going to have a different effect. And like I say, I believe I've got a supernatural immunity and protection. The helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, the breastplate of righteousness, all of that. The primary offensive weapon in the arsenal of truth is the Word of God. And trust me, it is offensive, right? It offends those, especially the proud. The proud are easily deceived. You show me somebody with some eye candy to have as their partner, male or female, whatever gender they're claiming to be or whatever. You can change the plumbing, padding, and pronouns. It doesn't change the gender, okay? And so the reality of that is whoever they have, whatever their lifestyle is, whether they're driving a Bugatti or a Tesla or a Ferrari, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where will they spend forever and why? And the monopoly money bank accounts that they have are sometimes, it's largely evidence of their selfishness. It could be disseminated throughout humanity. So to take Elon Musk in saying, if I were, there goes a Tesla Model S right now, beautiful white car, as I speak of the devil. Now, I'm not saying Elon's the devil. I'm saying he personally, as well as the other billionaires that think there's so much wrong with the world, how about you just fix it? How about you spread food and water and health instead of a death care system? So there's been a lot of experimentation on humanity. I believe Remember Rwanda is something you could look up, about psychotronic mind control technology that led to the genocide and the war with the Tutus and the Hutus and the Tutsis, I believe it was. Put them into a rage. I won't say there was a movie, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Maybe it's The Man Who Talked Too Much. I know so much more than I've even said here. It would take thousands of hours to learn it all if you wanted to. I'll give you the short version of it. That to be born of the Spirit is the Holy Spirit is what brought me to this place. And it's what I encourage everybody to do, is to seek the truth with all your heart, because it matters for eternity. Where are you going to spend forever and why? God determines that, the Almighty, based on a proclamation. The names of all of his children, our brothers and sisters, were put in the Lamb's Book of Life before the foundation of the world, well before any of us messed our lives up and asked for help, or found ourselves in a place of hopelessness and meaninglessness, apathy and ignorance. I don't know and I don't care that I don't know. That's where a lot of people are. They don't know. And of course, they don't know that they don't know. If they knew what I knew, they would care more. So apparently there's a lack of empathy in humanity. You think? Yeah, we've been desensitized to it. So when I was doing the sex, drugs, and rock and roll as a teenager, and I was hearing people say, "Oh, they're devil worshippers," I didn't want to hear it. I explained it away. Why is there so much opposition to Christianity? Truth is now the new hate speech. It's the most censored topic that there is. I believe God's word, the Bible, is true. People can like and dislike that. They do. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe, apparently. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, 11 says, they refused to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a strong delusion. So he's going to help them to believe the lie they apparently want to believe. How about that? Isn't that special? So you can explore my research library. I'm your cool, in-shape librarian that's saying, hey, I found the best deal going. I was able to trade in my rags for his riches. Knowing what to do isn't enough. It's having the power to do what you know you should do that makes it all happen. I'm operating in a flow state most of the time where it just flows. I had a dream about 4 years ago to put myself photoshopped in the Roadster and the Cybertruck on the back and send it to Elon Musk. I did. I FedExed it. We got a FedEx right down the road there. I FedExed it in a tube. You can see the video. It's a 1 and 4 seconds long. Hashtag Tesla Racing on my channel. You should see it. Anyway, I introduced myself to him. Seemed to be a pretty important person to connect with. About inventions, what else did I come up with? Well, when I was recovering from my near-fatal suicide attempt in 2005, while on pharmaceuticals as directed, I took a bottle and a half of Tylenol PM because I wanted, check please, I wanted out of here. Well, I was rescued and I survived it. And what I was doing in the aftercare of all that was going to counseling sessions and that, and having a legal pad and writing things down, thoughts and that. And it occurred to me after driving a Prius like this a while before that, that you could have an electric semi with regenerative braking on the semi-trailer. I'm going to use my clean Lexus key to scratch my ear where I can't get a finger. Hope that doesn't bother you too much. Anyway, underneath the opportunity space between the semi-tractor wheels and the trailer wheels, there's an opportunity space under the semi that could have a large battery that could be powered up by the Tesla Plaid motors, 4 of them on there. You could have 4 on there, saving brakes that are real expensive and create a lot of heat. And you could make electricity with them. How about that? Charge up the truck. You could have a magnetron that charges the truck while it's driving, charging up those batteries. It could run autonomously. Right now they've got, I believe, 4 motors for a Tesla electric that operate on the tractor. You could have 4 more on the trailer. I typed that in a comment that you could have regenerative braking on the Tesla semi-trailer. And somebody commented, Tesla doesn't make trailers. I'm like, oh well, I'm sorry your view of it was so small that you didn't see that could happen. Yeah, we could have semis that have a hybrid system trailer that in a straight line could be used to push the truck as well. It could get really weird having the trailer push the vehicle if it were not in an optimal position. But apparently the Tesla Semi has a way of preventing jackknifing, so the technology exists. Could a conventional diesel be turned into a hybrid with the tractor be a driver of that? Pusher? Could the trailer push the vehicle? Well, apparently, in some applications, it could be. But for all the ones that a Tesla has, it could be used as brakes instead of the regenerating the electricity. So, in 2005, in my mind and on paper, I wrote down regenerative braking on an electric semi with the battery underneath the bed for lower weight distribution. The term gravity, I typically, I had to learn lower center of gravity. No, I'm not buying the gravity thing. I know that more dense things fall, so lower weight distribution. So with a big battery under there, if it's being unloaded at a distribution hub, it could be charging with a mega charger. We have we have Stanley Meyer that created the water car that technology, you can hear them in the different varieties and venues talking about that molecular disassociation of water economically could heat a house. You can cook with it. I've got a friend that I talk to that can cook with hydrogen, Peter Crunk. He's in the research network, the Truth Network. You can see him there. So not only can you run a car on water or hydroxygen, you can also heat homes, cut steel, melt rock, cook with it, create electricity with it. 0 point energy is real. You can hear Stephen Greer talk about it. He's in my library. He was on a anonymous video. They know who I am. They've loved some of my comments. They've got a lot of views. And they went from promoting the global lie to apparently exposing it with the space fantasy that they're promoting. How about that? So there's not a whole lot of middle ground. I've heard silence is consent, perhaps. Silence when you know the truth about something that's a grand illusion and you're not exposing it, well, then that's part of the problem. Well-meaning people that don't want to rock the boat, don't want to get uninvited from family events and such, are just not going to tell the truth about this. So I've freed up my schedule quite a bit with telling the truth. Isn't that special? And yet it makes I get happy to see people that are like-minded, that are exposing the truth. Apparently Cynthia Thurlow, that had the TED Talk on intermittent fasting with many millions of views, has a conference today, I believe in New Mexico. Brilliant lady. She's in the Truth Network, exposing the truth about metabolic diversity and intermittent fasting to optimally operate our bodies, reduce the caloric intake, open up the window of non-consumption of food to go into autophagy, which is consuming those, some call them zombie cells, or those precancerous cells that can cause a lot of trouble. So reducing the amount of food going in has cognitive function increase, energy level increase, and an overall healthy function of the body. The type of food to eat has more fiber, a lot of nutrition nutrition, nutritional density, and a lack of toxification. Good luck with that. You're going to have to do your homework to figure out what kind of foods those are. But more high quality protein and less sugar and carbohydrates, which can turn into sugar. So the metabolic diversity allows me to leave the house without having to have a lot of food with me. And when I do eat out, it's typically me bringing one of my smoothies in a disposable container. It's not, it could be disposable. I've actually given them away. Like when I would find a homeless person that, or somebody trying to raise money for food, sometimes I'll say, hey, this stuff is super nutritious. You're welcome to have it. Do you want to try it? And they'll say, yeah. And they'll say, hey, that's good. I'll say, you can have it. When I was visiting my friends and our sons and my dad up in Wisconsin, I met a guy that was fishing. He was in a wheelchair and he was a veteran that was kind of down and that. I said, would you like some of my smoothie? He said, yeah. So I gave it to him. And then I was there for a while that day and I gave him the whole thing. And I met some people the next day that said, I don't know what you gave to him, but he was up all night. It was, well, what I had known was his diet was not good and he had some poor dietary and lifestyle choices, and he got a hold of some real healthy nutrition. Oh, that's my water. Okay. So I've got plenty of that. Oh, I know where it is. I've got my thermos. It's similar to this. It's a thermos that I've got a half a gallon of coffee in and about 4 ounces or 100 milliliter of organic coconut oil and a teaspoon of sea salt, a full spectrum sea salt. Celtic salt is one of the best. Redmond salt is really good, and so is Himalayan salt or so salt. I've got a lot of salt at home because what'll happen if you can't get it? What happens if the supply shuts off? Can't go to the store, can't buy it. So beans and bullets can be helpful. However, you're going to need some salt, healthy salt, not just sodium chloride. So that what I mentioned about my coffee, I emulsify it in a Ninja, and it's good for the hair, the skin, the nails. My nails are real healthy. My hair is real healthy. I'm real healthy. The reason why, lifestyle and dietary choices. I go to bed early. I sleep for a little while and then I'm back up again. It's pretty common for me to be awake around 20 hours a day. And I sleep when I need to. I may take a nap a few times a day. What do I do with the rest of that time? Expose the truth around the world, around the clock. There's this me and then a digital avatar of me that you're looking at. Now the people driving all around, they see the car, they see the truth guy in it. They may go to my channel. So I could have this parked in my garage, or I could be at the corner at the Starbucks on a rainy day doing a live stream. People can see it, take a picture of it, give me a call. Or maybe my friend who's, I've got a lot of friends with health concerns that listen to my videos or call me. And once again, it's not just the words coming out of my own mouth. Although I have a comprehensive research library deployed worldwide through the Truth Network, I'm utilizing and leveraging the efforts of the truth tellers and the deceivers alike. Keep in mind, a lot of truth comes out of a very effective deceiver. If that were me in some area, I would want to know. If I were promoting something or believing something that were not true, I would want to know. However, in the believing the Bible being true, there's prophecy and fulfillment, the foretelling of future events, and then those events occurring. There's remote viewing and Project Looking Glass. You can look at those things and they get some things right. Information can be known. However, there's just something special about the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's what happened to me. So, this is Robert Forsch with the truth about everything. Hey, I think, let's see, what do I want to do? I'm going to keep it rolling for a little bit and head on over to Bolanos. Now, I've given them a couple hours to put things out, and maybe I'll get something. Maybe not. I don't know. I think that's an electric vehicle right there. A Rivian. Yes, sir. Sure is. Going to get some expensive coffee. How about that? Here, I'll make it around the corner. We'll see him. So, yeah, the electric vehicles have been deployed, and they're being made, and they can be powered by generators on board. How about that? I think that's amazing. There he is. Rivian. They make a pretty good vehicle, I understand. So the people going through the drive-thru, getting the coffee, well, that's going to be some expensive coffee. Now, the coffee that I have, I've got a half a gallon of coffee for about $1.25. It'll last me a couple of days. It's healthier. It's made with solar-activated, purified water. It has electrolytes. Hey, you know what else I've got in my library? I've got Idiocracy. That is funny. It's a pretty funny movie. You can check it out if you want. It has electrolytes. That's one of the things that they say. Also, when she pulls up to get the she steps up to the food kiosk, and the person says, "How would you like some big ass fries?" Oh my gosh, laughter is good for the soul. I have a friend who was feeling kind of down, and I said that, and he was losing his breath laughing. He's got some health concerns, some of which I believe could be fixed with lifestyle and dietary choices. That was also what I found out in my desire to survive, was to find out what was I doing that I needed to stop doing, what did I need to do different, and I found out. So I'm doing a lot of things different. I'm eating a lot healthier, making a lot healthier choices. Makes sense. Saves money. Ah, yes. The fragrance of freedom. Wow. I broke the wheels loose a little bit. A little bit too much power. So one of the other things, when I got this car, it had some brand new Goodyears. And he had just had all the windows tinted and the little window surrounds that create a nice drip edge, so I can have the windows cracked open if I want, and the rain won't run in. And now you can see the truth behind me there. It's because of the lighting is better. So there you go. Now you know. And I even cleaned up my windshield wipers really good, but they're still making that racket. Now that's at least 10 miles an hour over the speed limit on changeover day. Dang. Gas is $2.69 there. Oh, nice. So it's very common that there's going to be multiple speed traps handing out reminders. I've seen it lots of times. I don't want to have any unnecessary interactions. I don't need a reminder to go the speed limit. I go the speed limit, and I encourage everybody to. It's easier to merge. It's less stressful. I enjoy the ride. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't even, unless I had to, I wouldn't buy a car that didn't have a functional cruise control. It's one of the things that I test when I test drive. I want to know. This is one of their common spots at parking lot there to have a speed trap. So now I have a car that I won't say it. Well, it's a more modern looking car. There's a lot of second generation Priuses around. There's millions of them out. This is the most driven to destination in North America. There's lots of them around here. So what I'll do is, it's all about the views. It's all about visibility. And so I'm going to park this where it'll get some views while I look for deals. It's just what I do. Watch out, guys. All these birds. Oh, I didn't mention the Mandela effect. I need to. The quantum effect. Do you know what that is? That is freaking amazing. What is the quantum effect? Well, it apparently is a manipulation of our reality with quantum supercomputers. Now, for people that are talking about it and if they're not acknowledging the possibility of affecting human memory and that, if they're not mentioning the quantum supercomputers and the MK Ultra mind control, the bidirectional or the two-way manipulation of cognitive function, in other words, mind control, affecting memories and perception. That's an important component of this. I remember where I was when Nelson Mandela had a funeral service. It was in 1981, I believe it was. 81 or 82. And I'm not sure which, because it's hard to know, because the official story apparently is that he died in 2013 in this reality. So Haas avocados, how do you spell them? Well, I remember them being spelled H-A-A-S. H-A-A-S. A friend of mine told me that. He said, it's another new one. And I said, really? I was walking into Costco and I said, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to these guys here and see what they have to say. So there were two produce guys in the Costco in Myrtle Beach. And I said, how do you spell Haas avocados? They said H-A-A-S. I said, look again. I said, here's my card, guaranteed to blow your mind. Now, do they pick their teeth and throw it away? Or say, what's that whack job talking about? Or do they go, huh, that's peculiar. I've got one for you. The lion shall lay down with the lamb. Now, apparently, it's the wolf shall lay down with the lamb. It changed, apparently, in the Bible that I have. I remember it saying The lion shall lay with the lamb. This is a old leather-bound Good Shepherd Bible I've got in my own possession. And I've got a porcelain figurine on my mantle with the lion laying down with the lamb. How does that work in this reality? The quantum effect. You can see it on Truth Shock TV dealing with the Bible changes. It's a reality. Back to Haas Avocados. Our next door neighbors on Pearl Street in New London, Wisconsin, their last name was Haas, spelled with 2 A's, like the avocado. And my dad and I would go to Elkhart Lake, and he told me about George Haas, I believe that's his name, with Penske Racing. He had a big cigar, and his name was HAAS. Those are all neuronal connections that all kind of fit together in however many billions of neurons I've got left, or axons, however those little, neurotransmitters, however that function works in the brain, they're related connections. Sometimes a smell relates them, sometimes spelling relates them to one another, and then that type of thing. So I just find it very interesting. You can listen to Geordie Rose talking about the D-Wave computer, and Brian Coffrin talking about how they were using sophisticated mind control technology to actually see through a target's eyes and hear what they hear, to see what they see and hear what they hear in the brain-computer interface technology. Apparently there's also mind-reading technology, so that not only does the system know what we have a good idea of what we, to know what we bought, every keystroke we've made, also to model what it thinks we will do. So I'm talking to you out of this base reality and then creating some of the digital simulation of it with this live stream right now. And then there's a node on the network for all of us. Isn't that special? Some people say, I don't do Facebook. I'm like, well, you probably do, you just don't know about it. There's a database for each of us, and it's all being modeled in a war game type simulation. The NASA war document, do you know about it? Deborah Tavares in my library talking about it. You can hear about it if you care to. And if this is all a little overwhelming and you think, well, how does it pertain to my life? I would simply say the truth matters. The more important the question, the more important an accurate answer is. Since I haven't been able to cover it all, and maybe you've got some issues running real important in your life, like you don't know what you should do about a particular choice in your life, I would just encourage everybody to obey as best you know how. Obey the Most High, to ask Him for help, to empower you to do what He created you to do. And I'll just keep on doing it here. I hope you have a great day. And it's going to be a nice rainy day here towards the top of my list. When I get home, I'm going to put on the fireplace and thunder background. I'll be on my laptop updating the research library. The links in the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document, I will keep on updating that around the clock. Okay, my library is updated around the clock. Sometimes things are taken out, and then I add different content in there. There's content on in the comments that have even had channels taken down. It's a different version of the channel. Some of the videos that have millions of views in its original iteration or version of it, sometimes there's only a few views apparently on the same video that was mirrored. So I can't mirror a video or I could lose my channel. And hopefully this video will stay up forever. I hope so. I'm pretty pleased with it. So, I'm exposing the truth about everything. The truth tellers and the liars are in the library, in this Truth Network, Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning Research Library. If you think I've got something wrong, anything at all, you could give me a call, send me a link, put it in a text. Or if you just want to say, hey, this is Robert Forsch with the truth about everything. Thank you so much.